Hello, Chickenstock Festival fans. I am here, Simon Drowles here from Chickenstock Festival UK. I'm here with the wonderful Malcolm MacWatt. Hello, Malcolm. How are you doing?
Hey Simon, I'm very good, thank you. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Very well. So, you're going to give us a bit of a talk today about what's been going on, and I'm going to ask you a few questions, and then we're going to hear some of your music towards the end of the interview.
Yeah.
So, how's lockdown been for you? Obviously, big thing at the moment. How's it been going for you?
I have to say, I mean, okay, obviously, despite all the tragedy and the loss of life and that, which is horrible. But for me personally, I think the whole COVID thing, it's been it's been fairly positive. It's given me a chance to, I think, take stock of my music. I played a lot in London. I play a lot of gigs, which meant that I was spending all my time rehearsing, traveling. So these last sort of sort of 10 weeks or so, it's been a real chance to write songs and just get back to what the music is for me.
Yeah, I think that's sort of fairly standard with a lot of musicians. They're taking that time to do what they do best, sit at home and write music.
Yeah.
So, what are you most looking forward to when this is all over, when life is back to whatever the new normal will be?
Okay, so apart from the obvious gigs,
of course,
I think it's I live in London. I just like to go into London and go and grab something to eat with my family, and I've got a bunch of favourite restaurants which are all closed. Eating's a big thing for me, so it's I think, but I mean obviously it's gigs happening again, not just for me as a performer, but just being able to go and listen to people and
see people and
yeah.
Excellent. So for me, sitting at home, I've spent a lot of time listening to music, which I don't often get the opportunity to do as much as I'd like. So what's been your lockdown anthem, if you like?
Oh, that's
discovered, or a band that you've connected with?
I mean, I think in terms of what I've been listening to other people, I think there's mainly just been so much new music coming out, from friends of mine that I spent a lot of time doing reviews of their music. And I think because I've had so much music out over this period, I spent a lot of time reflecting on my music. So, I would say it's just been, I've listened to a lot, but probably I don't think I've had an actual lockdown.
I'll pin it down to one.
Yeah, yeah.
So, I mean, the reason we're here, obviously, is to talk about your music and what's going on. So, I mean, we spoke briefly before we started recording this about the new music that you're working on. So, do you want to tell us what you've been working on, what's been released, and where we can find the music?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, absolutely. It's like, right at the start of lockdown, I released an EP called Hearts and Horizons, which I was really worried about at the start. I thought this has to be the worst time to release any new music, but I've had such a great response to that, to that EP, especially from within the American country sort of stations have really taken to it. So it's like that's been great. And then 4 months later, which was basically last weekend, I did this is it's a Scottish folk Americana EP, which I recorded entirely at home. And then we mastered it by Skype. So me and my producer, who's only really half an hour's drive up the road, but everyone's in isolation, so we mixed and mastered it through Skype, and that's, I mean, in the week that it's been out, I mean, I've had over 5,000 plays of that EP, which for me is a lot, because I'm not I'm quite a small, sort of relatively unknown guy, but it's music about the the roots of country. So I've really taken Scottish folk tunes and sort of blended them in, with Americana. So it's had already in Canada. I've had so many plays, down the eastern seaboard of America. I've had a lot of support, and in Scotland, it's they've really liked it up there. So it's been great.
That's brilliant. I mean, that was going to be my next question, was what was the sort of inspiration behind your music? And are there certain bands or artists that you grew up listening to that have inspired your playing now? Or is it Scotland or certain styles of music?
I think, I would say probably the biggest influence on my music was my mum. Right from as far back as I can remember, the house was always blasting with music, and my mum played the guitar. She wasn't great, but she just loved playing the guitar. So from a really early age, I was playing the guitar and listening to everything. Her tastes were just so eclectic. In terms of my own music, probably the guy called Dick Gaughan in Scotland has been a huge influence on me. More recently, I'd probably say Jason Isbell. He's just one of these superb songwriters, that just makes you, just inspires you to write. But everything. I would say the inspiration for my latest EP has been sitting at home, kind of thinking about how the impact of a pandemic like this has on people and has on our lives. And so I started thinking about things like immigration and emigration and all those reasons why people move. So that was really the whole sort of, that's why this particular EP came about. It's about that sort of movement from one country to another.
Right. Yeah. So obviously you're having great success with the latest albums, which is fantastic. What, if any, advice would you give to young musicians looking to sort of start their way in the music industry? Is there any advice you would give young musicians? Excuse me.
Just be absolutely true to yourself. At the end of the day, I think people, listeners respond to I suppose to your real life and just to your honesty and don't worry about whether you fit into this group or you fit into that clique or your music's relevant to anything. If it's relevant to you, then that's all you can ask, and I think that comes through in people's music. It's just being true to yourself and just keep going. It's
determination.
Yeah, the one thing I think that I've probably found more than anything is understanding the industry just through Twitter, just through connecting with connecting with people. But it's not about connecting necessarily with what people can do for you. I think I can actually make more. You can get more leeway and more push by asking people what you can do for them. Really, it's and I've really found that's been a big. That's helped to get me pushed. It's just being and asking, because if you don't ask, you don't get.
Don't get. Yeah, very true. Very true. That's brilliant. So, can you tell us about the song that we're going to hear you play in a moment, please?
Yeah. So the song's called "The Widow and the Cruel Sea." It's a song about a young woman in an 18th century Scottish Highland village who loses her husband, who's a fisherman, to the sea, and she just wants to get away from all of the, all of the restrictions on a young woman in living at that time and in that place, and she's desperate to start a new life in the new world in America, where she's got independence and freedom, and I suppose the American dream that you can do anything and you can start again. So it's called A Widow in the Cruel Sea.
Amazing. Well, I really look forward to hearing it along with the rest of our viewers. Thank you very, very much for your interview today, Malcolm. It's been really, really nice to talk to you, and we can't wait to see you perform next year at Chickenstock. Make sure, guys, you're following us on all of our social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We're going to be starting up a YouTube page for all of these clips as well. And come see Malcolm. Malcolm, would you like to introduce your song one final time?
Yeah, so this is The Widow in the Cruel Sea, and it's from my new EP, Scale.
Thank you very much.
The boat comes in, she's sitting low. They've had a good day's fishing with a catch to show. Something's wrong, I can clearly see. Two fishermen when there should be three. Oh, please God, let it not be me, a widow made by the cruel sea. At last the oars touch the sand. I run up looking for my man. But all my fears were realized. They said a big sea pulled him o'er the side. Her heart felt sorry for your loss. He was a fine young man as ever was. I wish that I could leave this place, break free of my widow's chains, in the new world across the sea. An American I'd like to be. I'm just one bear, it's just 1 year, and a woman can't do what she wants round here. My dead man's brother holds a key to what life has in store for me. And the men would talk, I'd hear him say how he would leave if he could one day. So I became my brother's wife. Can't complain for he treats me right. He knows my heart, he knows my mind, and he's promised we will leave in time. And I use the gifts that God gave me to keep it sweet as a man can be. I wish that I could leave this place, break free of my widow's chains, in the new world across the sea. An American I'd like to be. 2 years on across that sea, where I lost my boy to a malady. We settled here in Portland, Maine, and soon I'll have a child again. Scotland is from where we came, and now we're all Americans. I wish that I could leave that place. I broke free of my widow's chains, in the new world across the sea. An American I'll always be, in the new world across the sea. An American I'll always be. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of the show. Bye.